So far we've worked with individual sprites, but sometimes you might want to work with many sprites at the same time. Imagine you have a whole bunch of enemies and you want to set a certain property for all of them at the same time, or you have a group of, in this case, animals, and you want to be able to grab one, then the next one, then the next one, after that, maybe then the previous one again. So Phaser provides a very useful class called group, which allows us to work with collections of sprite in a very smooth manner. It provides a lot of methods and functionality that you can use. So after watching this video, you should take a look at a file called group.js, which is located inside of the Phaser folder that you download from the internet. Inside of the Phaser folder, source folder, and then core subfolder. You'll find it there. And there you'll see all the available methods. So what we are going to do in this particular lesson is just create a group and create a sprite for each one of the animals. Later on in a further lesson, we'll make these sprites enabled for touching, for clicking. And we'll put an event handler on them so that when you click them, you call the animate method that we already have, the animate animal method. Okay, so what we have here is an array that contains different objects. Each one of those objects has a property key and text. Key in this case is referring to the asset keys so that we can create each one of those sprites inside of a loop and just have access to all of the asset keys. And then text is what we'll use later in the course to show text, actual text under each one of the animals. Let me begin by iterating through this animal data array so that if you had 100 animals, because you can of course manually add each one of them, but if you had 100 animals, you probably want to do it in a loop. So what we'll do is use the for each method, which is a JavaScript method that all arrays have. And that allows you to iterate, to run a certain code through for each one of these entries. We have a function, and then we can access the current element. So element will take the value of this one first, then this one, and so forth. We have to create the group first, which is what I should have done in the first place. This.animals will be my group. We'll create it by typing this.game.add. See how we've been using this add property all over the place, and that is actually called the game factory, and it's used to create game objects. So we'll do this.game.add.group. This creates a new group, and in order to add a new sprite and a group, it's very easy. You just do this.animals.create. And then you enter XY, the XY coordinates for the location of the sprite, and the asset key. The X in this case is going to be, let's just write 200 just so that we can see that the animals are being created. And now we need to refer to the center of the screen, this.game.world.center Y. The asset is going to be element.key, so it will refer to this particular value. But we'll get an error, and I'm just going to show you that we'll get an error here. So see what's, oh yeah, animal, this is data, not date. Cannot read property create of undefined. This is because the reason why we're getting this error is because we can't access this inside of a for each loop. If you're accessing this, it's really referring to the actual object, not the this that we had outside. So in order for us to access this inside of this for each loop, we need to create a variable, which I'm going to call self, and it's going to take the value of this. And then this one is what we'll use inside. So if I reload the page now, you see that all the animals are being created at that particular position. This might be a bit tricky to understand, but basically this refers to the object where we're in, but when we're inside here, it's actually referring to a different object than the one we had outside. So if we assign it to a variable, then we can access that self inside of the scope of this iteration.